We are WNST, Towson, Baltimore, Baltimore Positive, AM 1570. You know how to find all of us. This, despite what people would tell you in that Christmas song, it's the most wonderful time of the year. This is really the most wonderful time of the year. We're going to have the Maryland Crab Cake Tour going. We have oysters everywhere, 26 oysters, 26 days, because I am celebrating 26 years. I got to get my oyster logo out in front. I'm working on that. We're doing the Crab Cake Tour at Coco's on Wednesday with Mark Viviano. We're doing the Crab Cake Tour next Friday at at Cooper's in Fells Point. We're going to be joined by Dave Scheiner of the Washington Post. Also going to be joined by my friend Chad Wiesling, NFL agent extraordinaire. Angela Alsobrooks, running for Senate, will be joining us on the 24th at State Fair. Larry Hogan is in the pipeline. I'm working on when Larry's going to join us. We're at Costas on the 27th later this month, and we're eating oysters every day. Leonard Raskin, I haven't invited you out for lunch lately, and I don't even know if you eat oysters. I've seen you annihilate crabs, and I have my crab mallet around here that I'm breaking out for your event later on next month. How are you? How was Europe?
I'm great.
How's the exchange rate?
The exchange rate is not good.
It's
not good.
It's not good, right?
It's it's about $1.10. So it's not terrible.
Well, for you Republicans, I need to say our money's strong. It's that Bidenomics money.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. It's really the fact that England's a mess, right?
Yeah, we're in Ireland, so don't confuse that with England. There's a totally different world over there. Ireland is part of the EU.
Oh, right. They use the euro.
Euros.
I'm sorry. Leonard, I love to travel. And
Absolutely.
I just got back from a little trip I went on to do all the writing, and you're going to read my Eric DaCosta letter and all that stuff I've writing. I love to travel. I love Bryan Adams. You know this, right?
Yeah, sure.
Bryan Adams played 3 nights at Royal Albert Hall.
Okay.
Other than the Northern Lights and a few other there's a theater in Phoenix called the Celebrity Theater that is built like it's Painter's Mill. It's a circle theater.
Yep.
The Stageman. I want to go there. I wanted to do the Taj Mahal, but I'm not going to India. You know what I mean? There's things I want to do in life.
Right.
But Royal Albert Hall is
there. You go. Way up there.
And I effed up the night before the Wembley game. I was with John Modell and Luke Jones and the man who saved my wife's life and her best friend from Barcelona. They were all we did this Pink Floyd wall exhibit at the whatever the art museum is called in London. And Ryan, not Bryan Adams. Ryan's more of a criminal. You can Google him. Ryan Adams was playing at Royal Albert Hall, and I had a ticket for like 30 pounds on my thing. And I said to my wife, look, go eat some Indian food. Just give me an hour I'll pay $40
I just want to see
walk
the place.
in there. I just want to walk in there. I didn't do it. 7 years later, I still haven't been there.
You'll get there.
And I was going to go in May, 3 nights. He did the album Reckless. He did the album. My dude, when I looked at what a night on a pillow was going to cost in the UK, and for all the Ravens fans who went to Tottenham last year, I mean, it's $400 to stay at the Quality Inn. Like it was looking like this crazy $6,000-8,000, and I'm like,
that's it. Too much.
I ain't paying that to go to London.
Too much.
I said to my wife, let's go to Tahiti if we're going to do that. So so when I think of not Europe, when I think of the UK, I think about but you got off good over there. You drank some Guinness, right?
We did. We did a little Jameson, did the Jameson distillery tour this time, and had a bunch of sips of some fabulous whiskey.
Did you go to the Temple Bar?
We did not, but we did go to
Temple Bar?
Not this time, but we've been there. We did go to Bewley's.
Okay.
And had some scones and hot chocolate with some cream. It was lovely. and then we ventured out with some friends. This is pretty tragic for them. We ventured out Saturday morning to a lovely restaurant, the Ivy, had a nice Saturday brunch, and then went to see the Seminoles versus the Yellow Jackets in Aviva Stadium in Dublin. Was the week 0 football game. And
you went to a college football game in Ireland?
In Ireland, yeah.
You're the guy I wrote about. You're that sports fan that they can't take it. You're in it. You're in it for life. I got
not really.
I was that guy in my 30s where I would
probably
drive
done
4 hours in a snowstorm to see Neyland Stadium and
right.
I did all of that.
I wouldn't have done it except a good friend of mine is a alum and Tallahassee native. And got
he's
tickets
upset this morning.
Got tickets and said, you want to join us for the game? What he said to me was, I know Matthew's going to be over there. We'd love to take him out to dinner, and if he wants to go to the game. And I said, well, we're going to be over there. So we did. We hung out. We had a nice dinner. We went to brunch, went to the game, and had 10th row, 50-yard line seats behind the Florida State bench. And sure enough, Georgia Tech beat them, favored by 10.5. Georgia Tech took them down, and my friend was none too happy. So here we are a week later, back in the burb, back in Baltimore. And oh my God.
They've already lost again.
Florida State, Boston College, and their chance of winning, their chance of getting to the 12-team college playoff was 36%, according to ESPN data analytics at the beginning of the season, 10% after the loss to Georgia Tech, 1% if they lose to Boston College. And Boston College flew into Tallahassee and knocked them out cold.
You know what? If it bothers Deion Sanders, I like it at this point. What did you make? Because I referenced the Deion Sanders press conference where he's throwing media members at. Deion's been on my timeline a lot because of the algorithm. And if I say Deion prime a lot,
right, shows up.
Yeah, it's a shame. And that night that he was out in Parkville with me in the mink coat and the whole deal.
What's up with that?
The yelling at
you got to stop. That's got to stop.
And I should say this to Chad Steele and Greg Bader and the Whistler. It's very, very petty how I've been dealt with. But to see Deion Sanders, guy's got $500 million in the bank, and
he's advertising everything. He's a pigeon. He's a pigeon on the DirecTV commercial now. Have you seen that?
No.
He's a pigeon coach. His voice, he does a voiceover of a pigeon, and it's him. It's Coach Prime Pigeon. And he's the Aflac guy doing the NIL for Aflac, and he's making money, made a fortune for Colorado.
And they almost beat North Dakota State.
Almost. Man. And his son has made tons of money. Didn't they win that game?
They did. They barely won. Yeah.
I was going to say, you said they almost won. They won.
I said they almost won by a lot.
Yeah. And his son got the NIL deal of all deals. I mean, he's a multi-millionaire.
But when I see a guy like that trying to intimidate a 5-figure reporter,
right? What's the point?
For an affiliate.
What's the point?
It reminds me all the lies that Harbaugh and DaCosta have given to me.
It just doesn't make any sense. What happened? The guy asked him a tough question, said something hard about him.
It wasn't even a talk. It was just a question, and Deion's pissed at CBS, and he worked for CBS, so he acted all indignant.
I know this, Ryan Day, head coach at The Ohio State, who beat Little Sisters of the Poor, I think it was Toledo, or somebody this past week, whoever it was, by 50, they won by 46. The spread was 48. So people are all pissed off that they didn't cover. They won by 46. Reporters barrage that guy. He wins by 46, and he gets destroyed in the press in Ohio, and just stands there and takes it. Just listens, answers the questions, moves on. That's his job. That's your job. Answer the questions, move on. If you don't want to answer the questions, go into politics.
But what if your job is banning the guy from ever being there to even ask the question?
Well, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. The point is, you should be in politics if you don't want to answer the question. Then you can just say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to answer that. I'm going to walk away. You could be Tim Walz or whatever, and you can just walk away.
There you go. You get your cheap shot in. There you go.
Right. Hey, you got your Republican jab. I'll get my Tim Walz about 6 Israeli hostages murdered in cold blood by Hamas. And when asked about it, he said, thank you all, and walked away. Nice answer. Idiot. Anyway, enough of that for the day. Let's move on.
Let's just hope he's the vice president 8 weeks from now.
Let's hope he's an unemployed Minnesota governor.
That's
very
fine.
soon.
Not in this state, though. Not in Maryland. Not so far. We will have Larry Hogan and Angela Alsobrooks on.
Yeah, it's a tight race.
On later on. I mean, just in a jet of you getting ready for Thursday night
Here
and
we
us
go.
getting ready for
Here
Thursday
we
night
go.
and the baseball lead up to all of this and all of the Craig Kimbrell and all of the
Ooh,
injuries and
ooh,
what happened to Dean Kramer the other,
man,
like
that was
all of
ugly.
that happens.
Did
The
that arm?
football,
Did you see that arm? That
jeez, it was
arm. I
crazy.
can't believe
How
it
was it not
wasn't
broken?
broken. How could that not be broken? That thing swelled up like a grapefruit on his arm in seconds. And I'm thinking his arm's just got to be wobbling, but no, it was just a contusion.
Well, a lot of
Man,
times if you get knocked in the head, you get that egg when you're a
right,
little kid.
right, right.
And it was like an egg on his arm. But for football, for you, and
Yes,
getting ready for this,
yes. Here
and
we go.
your
Chiefs
season
week.
ticket holder,
Yes,
you
yes.
haven't been down and seen the Black Wing yet, or
No,
you haven't done any of
no,
that, or the
nothing.
Kevin Byrne press box that I'm banned from.
No.
The new stadium's next week, but this Thursday night thing where, I mean, it's the biggest regular season game, and Luke disputed this.
Gotta beat the Chiefs.
Luke disputed this, and I'm like, I've never felt as a fan, as a media member, I've never felt sort of the backside of losing an AFC championship game that you fully expected to win,
Yep.
and then having to go out there where they're going to raise a flag.
Yep.
We
Hard
haven't
game.
had a game like this.
Hard game.
Not even that game in Denver. We got our ass kicked.
No, that was a joke.
That was a joke. And by the way, Peter Angelo, that was a joke.
Yeah.
A disgrace.
Yes.
Luke and I looked up the word disgraceful to make sure I'm using it for. That was a disgrace.
That's absolutely right.
But in this case, lost the game. You got to go out there. But boy, it's
hard to win.
It's
hard
an
to win out there.
Chance to start the season the right way.
Yeah.
The Lions did it last year.
Right. New offensive line, new running back in the scheme. Interesting setup, interesting setup for this game. I hope it's a win, but it's hard to win there anytime. They're going to be raising that flag. The place is going to be going crazy. Mrs. Travis Kelce's going to be in the barn, I'm sure.
That's Ms. to you.
I thought they're married. I thought they're married now.
They're not married.
They haven't gotten married? I don't know. I thought they snuck off to a.
What would be your first? Would you give either one of them a prenup, or would you really? Where? This is a. You know what? Leonard Raskin manages money. He does. He empowers the finance. So if you have Taylor Swift, who has billions,
and she should have a
Travis
prenup.
Kelce, who has hundreds of millions,
she should absolutely have a prenup. They should have a prenup.
She should have a prenup.
Absolutely, absolutely. She'd be nuts. She'd be crazy. I don't care who he is. I don't care how much he has. You got what she's got. You don't have that document signed that says, we're a typical Hollywood athlete marriage and we don't last. You ain't getting. You take yours, I'll take mine. We'll go away. That'll be that. But
that would be the smartest way for them to do it, correct?
Absolutely. If I was advising her, I would absolutely advise her to have it. If I was advising him, I would say, who cares?
Do prenups keep marriages cleaner or F them up in your experience in seeing these?
I've seen people have them and not have any issues in their marriage whatsoever. And I've seen people have them and it makes, it doesn't make it a mess, but the marriage is a mess. And I just think that's because the marriage is a mess.
Oh, fair enough. That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got money and you've accumulated wealth and it's in your name and your control, and you're going to marry someone who has dramatically less, or you're concerned about if something happens, what happens, I recommend that you have one. I've recommended them numerous times to people that they meet with an attorney and consider it and get them.
Is there ever a time not to get one?
You don't have any money.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't have anything, who cares? My wife and I got married, and our agreement was if we divorced, you take your debt and I'll take mine.
That's all you had.
30 years ago, that's all there was. So you pay off your bills, I'll pay off my bills, and so be it. There's no reason to have one there. But, if you're a successful business, individual, whatever, and you've got significant net wealth and the partner you're marrying is not of the similar means, that's one reason. Absolutely. The other, very often where it comes in, is second marriages, third marriages, perhaps, where there are children of prior marriages that you want to protect that wealth for and don't want the now spouse, if something happens, to have that wealth for their children and not your children. So there's reasons to do it. Absolutely. And
you have to Google Tom Benson, New Orleans Saints.
Yeah. Well, who owns the Saints now?
I don't even know. I think it's
Mrs.
wife.
Benson.
Yeah. Yeah. whom the kids hated, like all the
right.
Leonard Raskin is here.
Right.
His kids don't hate him. Even he sent them off to Ireland.
I sent the boy to Dublin.
To
left
Dublin.
him. I didn't send him. I went with him,
and
I
got a
left
college
him.
football game out of it. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, it was so bizarre. Next year, well, they've had good games. Last year was Notre Dame Navy. Was last year's game.
I knew about that. Yes, I remember Notre Dame going over. There was a huge deal.
Yeah, absolutely. This year was Florida State, Georgia Tech. So that drew because Florida State was 60-70% of the stadium. So that drew because they
didn't play at Croke Park. They played at a different place.
Aviva Stadium.
Okay.
Aviva, right in Dublin, where the big soccer stadium.
Okay.
And next year is Kansas State, Iowa State. I'm thinking they're going to have an empty stadium. I could be wrong, but I'm not thinking that's Ohio State and that team up north, or Florida, Miami, or something like that. I don't know who's going to come to Ireland for Kansas State, Iowa State. I could be wrong, but we went over. We spent 10 days in country, and we left the boy behind, and now he's in Dublin for a little over maybe a year and a half. Master's degree in medieval history studies, on his way to professorship. And it's really bizarre having him over there. It's a 5-hour time difference.
Professor Raskin. That sounds a little...
Doctor.
He'll
be,
sorry.
By the time he gets to professor, he'll be doctor. He'll have his PhD.
All right.
So there'll be a Dr. Raskin in the family, which there's never been that I know of. So
you are the good doctor of all this. So do you expect them to win Thursday night or lose? I mean, this is where I am with Luke. I don't expect them to win.
I don't expect them to win. I hope they win. But Kansas City at home, opening night, flag, fans. The good news is it won't be probably freezing cold, but so be it.
I haven't checked temperature at game time there. I know you've been watching the Orioles. I know you're out of the country.
Watching the O's. Midnight.
It's really weird when you're in Europe watching. West Coast is cool, but
the West Coast is great.
First off, it's hard to find baseball when you're in Europe.
Well,
period.
You better be able to watch it.
You better have your app if you want to watch.
I got to tell you, give them some props. I had the Masson app, ran great. I watched the O's at midnight, and I fell asleep about the second or third inning every night. Didn't know the outcome till the morning when I woke up and checked the score. But watched a little bit over there. But no, there was no watching baseball over there starting at midnight. And then the last 2 nights we were there, they went off to L.A., which means it was 3 a.m.
Well, 25 years ago, I chased Bruce Springsteen around Europe, right? So I went with Scotty P from Amici's and his sister, and we did a week and a half in Paris, Madrid, Zaragoza.
There you go.
Different, but we were in Zaragoza, Spain, which is the Highland Plains, right?
Right.
We were there on the night of Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
There you go.
Right. And this is 1999. There's barely an internet, right? Like,
right.
Like literally no bueno. I mean, the NHL does not exist in Europe in that way at that point. And I just think of these times where I've been places. I'll give you another place I was, and this will blow your mind. I was in Seoul, South Korea.
Yep.
50 million people live there.
Yep.
Could not find a National Football League game.
Well, we were in London.
You can't even get it online. You can't sign up.
We were in London New Year's, just 2019. Couldn't find the Ravens game online anywhere. I
watched in Japan in 2007.
I could listen to BAL.
Yeah,
I could listen to BAL on the radio, but that was it. There was no visual chance. And I had DirecTV with Sunday Ticket. I had, the NBC, I had Fox, I had all the apps, nothing in London.
All right, so here's your kid is clearly smarter than either one of us. No offense to you or me. So let's just say this. Hey, I want to get your kid on this.
Baby.
That's fine. He also likes sports.
Yes.
He's over in Ireland. I just looked up Aviva Stadium.
Yeah.
I went to Croke Park to see U2 in Dublin.
Okay.
And as it turns out, I'm such an idiot. No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
Aviva Stadium was called Lansdowne Road. That was
that's where
name,
it is. That's
the name of what people there call it, or they call it Dublin Arena.
Yes.
But Croke Park isn't a soccer stadium. It's not a football. And I've been there. I saw you
Right.
too there. What do I know? It's a Gaelic
Ah,
Games Park.
there you go.
So for those who don't know what the Gaelic games in or how to play Gaelic, I saw Gaelic one time on ESPN back
Yeah.
in the 80s at 3 in the morning, and it's got this ball and this wicket. So your kid's really smart. Next thing we're going to do is figure out rugby and learn the rules to that because I don't know rugby at all. But I need your kid to learn the rules to Gaelic. So if I
Yeah,
visit him in Ireland,
he
we'll
could
go to
figure it
Croke
out.
Park and we'll see Gaelic.
He could figure it out.
Leonard Raskin is here. He figures out how to eat crabs. He has his crab festival. He figures out money, empowering people to choose their financial future, including
Amen.
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I got to get a little baseball with you. Where are you?
Sure.
Where are you on the temperature with the Orioles right now?
Scared. The good news is Eflin's back. That was a great pitched game. You get healthy against the White Sox. That's good. Maybe Texas can beat the Yankees. That would be nice. Look, they got a great chance to win the division. If the boys can not swing at bad pitches, they get their eyes back. They hit good pitches, which they've done. They proved that they can run. They got to get back to playing good fundamental baseball. I guess during the season there's not much time for practice, not much time for a lot of practice. But they looked a little sloppy the last couple of weeks. I don't know if that's tired, young players tired. I don't know if that's just
injuries,
sloppy.
lots of injuries. They just have different personnel. I mean, I look out there now and I see Rivera and I see Slater and it's just Eloy Jimenez. I mean, bullpen. Here comes Soto. Here comes Sir Anthony.
Yeah, who are these? I like Sir Anthony. I like Sir Anthony.
Well, we sit here when they're winning all these games and we project October. Excuse me, in June.
Yeah.
And
but who knew how bad they were?
Well, I mean, and this would speak to you and me being long-term sports fans and educated folks.
Yep.
Whatever this team is on Thursday night with the Ravens, and whatever the Chiefs are too, if they play again in January,
different.
Just but for the Orioles, it's been a weirdly, wildly different set of players than that group that was on pace to win 110 games back in
Correct, but if our manager here doesn't win Manager of the Year, if this keeps up.
Well, if they're the 1 seed, he should totally
I'm just
be Manager
saying,
of the Year.
He has done an incredible job of pulling the strings and pinch hitting at the right time and pulling players out and pitching who needs to be pitched. And my goodness, all of a sudden the front office says, okay, you got this guy. We're optioning out that guy. You ain't got that guy. We got this guy. Like you said, you definitely need a scorecard to know the roster these days. It's who's hitting.
Well, they brought up 2 of their phenoms this year. And they both failed. I mean, Holiday and Kobe Mayo both failed on first time in. And,
that's right.
And now Rutschman has been really scuffled. Yeah. Like if they're going to win in October, they're going to hit the ball. And as Luke said, they're going to hit a lot of home runs and they're going to win those kind of games where they're scoring 7, 8, 9 runs a game.
And the pitching's got to be there. Pitching's got to be there right now. You got some good starters if they're healthy. Maybe you need to skip, but I don't know.
Well, getting Rodriguez back will be huge for them later on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have 4 good
Luke,
starters.
There is a cavalry here. Westberg's going to come back.
Right.
They're
Mountcastle.
They're going to get Kramer back too. I think when that's 3 weeks from now, I think he'll be okay.
He might miss a start. I don't know if he might not even miss a start. I mean, depending on the pain,
he's got to miss. I mean,
I don't know. Look, I don't know if you saw him yesterday, but the things, they put like a cast on that thing and smushed it out. So who knows?
Smushed it out.
Yeah, they spread it out. They smushed out the bump there. It's already starting to.
Is smush a word? Can I use that word?
I think smush is a Scrabble word. I think it's a Scrabble word.
I'm a SMU. Well, anytime
I think it's OOSH, smush.
No, smush. SMUCSH. SMUC.
Okay.
It's a verb. Crush, smash. They smush marshmallows in their mouth.
There you go. Like a s'mores.
My wife gets on me about making up words because I make up words. My word is snibble. I use the word snibble a lot.
I don't know what that is.
Hold on. There's a word called snibble in the Oxford Dictionary. Is that possible? No, that's not. It can't be possible.
No,
Snibble's not really a word.
You could get it popular enough to be in the next edition.
Hold on. Oxford English Dictionary says snibble is a noun.
What is it?
I
Not what
don't
you're
know.
using it as is the point.
I don't know.
What?
I have to log in and pay Oxford
Yeah,
Data.
right. The question is, what are you using it
If I
as?
pay him
And
enough, Snibble will be worth. Snibble is it's very simple. It's 2 words, right? It's a nibble and a snack. So it's between a snack and a nibble. So if you take 2 bites of something, that's kind of a snibble. It's not a snack because that would be 3 bites. It's not a nibble because that would be 1 bite. It's a snibble.
I don't think that's what it is. If that's a real word, I don't think that's
Well, you
probably
can't
what
use it
it's
in Wordle
defined
anyway. It's not a
as.
5 letter. My wife would hate the word smush because it has 2 S's in it. 2 S's in Wordle's trouble. Leonard Raskin is here. He tries to make sense of all of this as we get onto the field and off the field. It is good to have you back on this side
Good to
of
be
the
back.
water. It's good to disagree with you politically because I need a guy like you around so I can be
Absolutely.
right in November.
That's right.
And
We'll see.
I'll have you out the day Larry Hogan's out. You can ask him the tough questions that I'm going to be asking.
That's right.
You
There
can
we
ask
go.
Angela the tough questions too, because we all as citizens should be asking tough questions. We should be.
That's right. To those that need to be asked, those in power or think they're in power.
You know, when Chad Steele, the last thing I ever said to him when he was in there screaming at me in the cafeteria, I'll tell Viviano this because he was there too. I asked him, I said, "What is your role? What is your job?" I asked Chad Steele that. I'm the brand manager. And then he got sort of flipping with me and said, "What's your job?" And I said, "I hold power accountable. That's my job.
Absolutely.
That's my
That's your
job.
job. That
That's
is
my
your
job."
job.
He didn't like that.
Well,
But
that's what it
that's my
is.
job. So
Right.
the letters are coming out this week. They're all sponsored in part by Leonard Raskin and all of our incredible sponsors here. Raskin Global can help you. I tell everybody in the everybody knows what I do. You know, my brand now is being banned by the Orioles and the Ravens. Greg Abel told me that's your brand. You should go with it. And I'm like, okay. What is Raskin Global? What do you do? I mean, you help people with their money and help people that can't possibly know as much about money as somebody that studied it the whole life.
That's exactly it. You know, people try to do it themselves and they think because they earn money and have money, they know money. And the fact of the matter is that they don't. There are nuances. I've studied it. It's what I've done through college and in a 37-year career is understand how money works in our economic system. And I help people understand how to use it to have the life they want. That's what's most important. It's not whether it's the bank or the insurance company or the brokerage firm or whatever it is. It's what do you want out of your life and how does money avail you to chase Springsteen or go to the Ravens game or go to Disney World or help your kids go through college or whatever it is that you want it to be for.
Well, and
And
also how you value your own money. I mean, we both just sat here and talked about me wanting to go to Royal Albert Hall, wanting to see Brown. Could I have afforded it? Yeah, I mean, I guess I could have
right,
spent
but is
five,
that a
6, 8,
life
but that's
choice?
not a value. That wasn't value
That's
for
right.
me,
That's
right? In the
right. And
same
that's
way,
how you look, you establish value of things in our society
and
2 ways.
experiences.
Yeah, 2 ways. Exactly. You
Right.
use money for it and you give your time. Now, money is something you can create more of depending upon your desire to have it. Time ain't getting any of that back. Once you use it, it's gone. So you value things by where you place your time and your money. And if you want to see what's important to somebody, you just look at what they're doing with their time and money. And what we do is help people in the time that they want to use for the things that matter, have the money to do what they want to do and what they place value on. And too many people don't know even what that is. And we help people understand how to use money appropriately to cause those things to happen in their life that they want to have happen, whether that's individual, business owner, whoever it is. That's what it's about.
He's Leonard Raskin. He is Raskin Global. I got the shirt. We've got the crab mallet here. You had crabs lately? I've been in
I,
kind of in the
I
mood.
haven't. I haven't, but I think I will this week for sure.
Well, here's the
Yeah,
problem. I'm doing 26 oysters in
there you go.
26
There you
days,
go.
26 ways.
Char
And
grilled. Char grilled. That's the only thing I like.
I'm going to have them that way. I'm going to have them fried. I am going to have them
Maybe
raw.
fried. Maybe fried. I'm
You
not
know,
a
you're
raw
not a raw
oyster
guy.
fan.
You're not a raw
No,
guy. Okay.
not a raw guy. Maybe in a good stew, but it's got to be really good, and I haven't had too many.
Well, here's an offer for you. Okay.
Sure,
I am
sure.
beginning the oyster tour on Thursday with my
Yeah.
cousin by marriage, John Shields, at a famous chef at Gertrude's, who is really famous for his Eastern Shore creations. He does a fried oyster that apparently, when it hits my tongue, it's going to be like cotton candy. It's
Wow.
just going to, right? So I'm going to, and with a remoulade, so I'm doing that Friday. And I don't know if you're old enough. I know I'm not old enough, but I have driven on York Road all of my life. And I'm
Right.
talking about 1973, 74, when my Aparicio cousins lived up above Padonia Station on Padonia Road. My
Okay.
father would take me. We didn't go up 83. We get off at York Road, and I'd see Heaver Plaza.
Sure.
And right under that, the Pepper Mill. And every time I see the Pepper Mill, it's got oyster special, fried oyster
Oh my
special,
God.
oyster stew, all that stuff. And everybody has told me, you're not old enough to go to the Pepper Mill.
Well, you don't have
And
a walker or a wheelchair, thank God.
God's waiting room, right?
God's waiting room.
So on Friday, this Friday,
Yeah.
I'm going to the Pepper Mill for the first time. Not in my life. I was there maybe 30 years ago.
Oh, I've been there.
Long time
I've
ago.
been there.
I know one of the servers there. She's hooking this whole thing up. Tori's mom. We're going to get this together. I'm going to have the oyster stew at the Pepper Mill as my oyster choice. So you said oyster stew out loud. And I know you live near York Road because I've been to your house.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do the Pepper Mill Friday just to have a bowl of soup. So
What time are you doing? What time are you going?
It's lunchtime. It's a lunch event.
All right. Well, we'll
Depends if the Ravens win or lose on Thursday.
No, I just got to check the schedule, see if I'm good.
Right,
we
well,
can
it's
do
just
it.
an idea. So I'm going through my oyster tour here, and I have some days completely identified.
Yeah.
Like on Saturday, my wife and I have decided, and I know the mayor of Frederick as well. I had him on the show last month. There's a place called Shuckin' Shack. It's an oyster bar. I'm going to have a Shuckin' Shack oyster shooter. In Frederick on Saturday. So I'm getting out. I'm doing 26 oysters in 26 days. Our friends at Liberty Pure Solutions, I want to give full love. I have some Liberty Pure water somewhere in there, but I've been drinking it. I will have that with me on all this. They keep your water clean if you have well water, Liberty Solutions, and they're also great plumbers as well. They take care of my thing. And Sunday, because there's no football, I'm going to Hamden, and this place is
no football
famous.
Sunday.
The Ravens don't play Sunday.
Oh, okay. I was
not my
say,
football.
Did I miss something?
No.
I must have missed something.
Well, I can't go to an 11 o'clock brunch on a Raven game day, right? But I'm going to the Urban Oyster in Hamden, highly recommended, and I might get everything on their menu because it looks unbelievable. So this is my first couple of days, and I think on Monday night, my friend Bobby Cardoni over at the Strategic Factory has a birthday party. I think I'm going to enjoy the oysters of Brian McComas at Riley's Oyster in Timonium, another place you're very familiar with.
Absolutely.
On Monday. So I'm getting out. I'm doing oysters. It's all brought to you by Liberty Pure. It's also brought to you by Raskin Global, all of our friends and our friends at the Maryland Lottery. I will have the Gold Rush 7 Stubblers at Coco's on Wednesday with Mark Viviano. And then, Leonard, you're always asking me about this crab cake tour schedule. Get your pencil out. You ready? Next Friday, we are at Cooper's celebrating the Fells Point Oyster Festival all weekend. I'm going to be broadcasting there from 11 until 3 on the day that Springsteen's in town and Styx is in town. Eddie Vedder might be hanging around. We'll see. I'll be at Cooper's in Fells Point on the Friday the 13th. And then we're Marvin Lewis is in town on the 14th, so that's going to be good. We're going to be doing the Oyster Tour at Fadley's on the 20th, and John Sarbanes is going to be there because it's his favorite restaurant. That's on the 20th. And then on the 24th, we're going to be at State Fair in Catonsville with Angela Alsterbrooks in the afternoon. Then on the 27th, we're going to be at Costas. And then I don't know if Westmore's convinced I'm a Republican, I think. Really, his people were convinced. His people were convinced I was. Craig Thompson is convinced that I'm voting for Larry Hogan. So I don't know if Westmore's joining us, but maybe Larry will come out. Larry came out on the end of the Crab Cake Tour. Maybe he'll come out. It's an open offer. And then we're going to be doing a very, very special birthday party for me on the Crab Cake Tour on the 11th of October. And we're going to celebrate 3 big birthdays. Sammy Hagar, myself, and Hall of Famer Jim Palmer, back to back to back. We're going to be at Pizza John's in Essex, having crab cakes. No oysters, crab cakes. It's October 11th. So there's your Crab Cake Tour. You like that?
Sounds great. Let's pick a couple dates. I'll meet you out there and we'll do it.
All right.
I'm all in.
Still don't know if you're old enough to go to the Pepper Mill with me. Here's Leonard Raskin.
I'm not old enough, but I've been there.
Did you go with your mother?
Yeah.
Maybe I can borrow your mother. It'll get me
That's right. That's right.
Leonard Raskin, Raskin Global. I'm going to read this right off the crab mouth. Empowering people to choose their financial future.
Amen.
There it is.
That's
AM
it.
1570, Baltimore Positive. Stay with us. Go Ravens. Beat the Chiefs, I think.